right, hello and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. We got a lot to get to tonight. Obviously, the big news today was that we thought that Mike Waltz was out. We thought that he was done. We thought he was finito. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz announced today that he was stepping down earlier in the day, and speculation started to fly. I wondered myself, why now? Why 6 weeks after this Signal chat leak? And obviously, there's been more. There's been more leaks. Apparently, some people leaked within Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's inner circle that he was on the Signal chat apparently with his wife, with his brother. His brother works at the Department of Defense, and his wife. He didn't share any classified information, anything that was secretive at all. And so to me, it wasn't a big issue. But obviously, this is the stuff that the left is going to absolutely go after. Now, in the event that there was any classified information leak, then they need to go bye-bye. It was a big deal, in my opinion, that somehow, some way, you got this journalist from the Atlantic in that Signal chat. That was a big deal. But no harm, no foul, I guess, since there was no classified information. Not to mention that this quote unquote journalist from the, I believe Jeffrey Goldberg is, if his name is his name, if I recall correctly. But I mean, he basically camped out in that chat for several days. He could have alerted them and said, "Hey guys, I'm here." He chose not to do that. Now, how he got included in that was an absolute disgrace. Apparently, it was just whether Mike Walsh put it in, whether his assistant put it in, whomever it may have been. The journalist from the Atlantic ended up in that chat. Now, so hearing the news today that he was stepping down, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I know there's some infighting within the Trump administration, but Trump likes deferring opinions. You've got a wing of the National Security Council, and those that deal with foreign policy that are more war hawkish, and then you have some that are I don't know if I would use the term isolationist, but they're, I mean, absolutely. I want to stay out of any foreign wars unless a bomb hits us or something. You know what I mean? I don't think they're quite isolationist, but that's the way that it's framed. So I'll put it that way. So I'm thinking, okay, they've decided to get rid of him, go ahead and make him the fall guy. And that way the news kind of goes away. But the news really didn't go away. I mean, a lot of people were talking about it today. I looked online, and when I say online, I mean on X, and you could see MAGA supporters saying, "Yeah, see, he was a Trump should have got rid of him," and so on, etc. He's this type of person. He's a war hawk. He's this. They used other terms, so on, etc. And then others that were a little more cautious. Okay, like why are we doing this? As a matter of fact, I got to listen to a few minutes anyway of ACLJ, and they were saying, listen, I'm not saying that this is wrong or right, but we do want to know the reason why now, so on, etc. And then, I mean, within an hour or two later, you get a truth from President Trump that says basically that Mike Waltz is being elevated to be his UN ambassador. Now he has to go through Senate confirmation. You had Vice President J.D. Vance, I believe he was on Fox earlier, and he said that they simply thought that Mike Waltz would be a better fit as UN ambassador, and he indeed did consider it a promotion. Let me see if I have the article here. Yeah, this is from the New York Post. Had tip. The title: Trump believes Mike Waltz will make a better UN ambassador after being ousted as national security advisor. This, according again to the vice president. So Trump did remove Waltz as national security advisor because he felt that he would be a better UN ambassador. Vice President J.D. Vance said this today, arguing that the former congressman's nomination to rep the U.S. in Turtle Bay could be considered a promotion, quote unquote. Vance told Fox News special report host Brett Baer, that both he and Trump, quote unquote, like Mike. But they also thought that he'd make a better UN ambassador as we get beyond this stage of the reforms that we've made to the National Security Council. So apparently they've made the reforms that they want to make. You guys may remember that it was Elise Stefanik that was going to be the UN ambassador. Trump asked her after she had already been confirmed by the Senate, if I recall correctly, but asked her to step back from that role, go back to the House. She's in a leadership role back in the House, apparently contemplating a run for New York governor. I think she would be fantastic. I hope she does that. She is guys. She's a moderate, but I think she might work for. Actually, she's close to a Democrat, a conservative Democrat. She's almost like a blue dog Democrat, but she's very effective. I think she would be good for New York. I thought she would have been a great UN ambassador as well. I mean, you saw how she put those college presidents on check last year, and it really, I mean, it just started to snowball. These colleges started to snowball. The anti-Semitism was exposed, not just amongst some of the activist students, but even professors and some of these presidents that were too scared to stand against anti-Semitism at their schools. So she would have been wonderful, I thought, as UN ambassador. But again, she was needed in the House. Why was she needed in the House? She was needed in the House simply because the congressional seat, I believe is Florida District 6. Florida District 6, Mike Waltz left. There was going to be a shortage, and we were already low. We don't have much of a majority in the House of Representatives, so we needed as many people as possible. Mike Waltz leaves his seat. There's a special election. We get this guy Randy Fine, who's quite frankly a rhino, like nobody's business. One of the biggest rhinos out there. But nonetheless, he won the race in that special election, but he won it by less than 10 points, where Mike Waltz had won it by over 30 points. So a big difference, but nonetheless, it was a special election. But anyway, Randy Fine is not a good congressman. I'm not happy that he's in that seat. I started thinking, hey, maybe Mike Waltz goes back there. Mike Waltz is a little moderate for me, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, I thought he was an effective and good congressman for that particular district. They obviously loved him. They voted for him overwhelmingly. But now, after we got the news that he was ousted from being the national security advisor, he, in a sense, gets this promotion. And frankly, I could see it. I mean, he it does seem like he will make a great fit for UN ambassador. I'm not convinced that he wasn't a great NSA director. He screwed up. He screwed up. Now, some have said or opined or commented that perhaps getting rid of Mike Waltz as national security advisor was to kind of alleviate some of the stuff that was going on with Secretary of Defense Hegseth, to relieve some of the pressure going on as far as he was concerned. So that may be the case. I don't know. But the bottom line is you now have a UN ambassador, or what will be, I believe, a UN ambassador, and a great UN ambassador. And again, I'm not so sure that he wouldn't have been. I'm not convinced that he wasn't a great NSA director, but that was a major faux pas starting out. And I'm sure he would admit to that at least today. Once it was found that, dude, you simply screwed up. When you're on those signal chats, when you're on anything like that, there's similar names that may pop up, and you got to make sure that everybody that you intend to be in that chat is in that chat and no more. All right, especially when you're doing a large group like that. I've used Signal before in the past. Whenever I've used it, it was on a one-on-one basis. All right, and frankly, I didn't use it that much. I only used it. I only used it before in the past with somebody that was helping me with radio and sharing advice and so on, etc. But that's that. So it's pretty. This is typical Trump. I mean, this is typical Trump. I got to be honest with you. Even I was sitting there scratching my head. Okay, what are we doing here? I mean, I know the press was hitting hard, but I'm like, listen, all the things that Trump is doing right now, this guy is literally what he's doing is turning around the LBJ era. He's turning around the FDR era. And this is why the left is absolutely panicking. I'm not saying that it's all comfortable. I know a lot of people are not at ease with the tariffs. A lot of people are. I mean, I'm one of these people where I'm like, listen, I like the way that we're using tariffs for leverage. I do believe in proportional, as I heard someone say, listen, we should not look for reciprocal tariffs, but proportional tariffs. But mainly, what we want to do is we want to knock out China. And this is one of the ways that we can do it. We get people on our side, proportional tariffs that are fair, that are beneficial to them. Sometimes we're going to have a trade deficit with people, sometimes, or countries. Sometimes they're going to have a trade surplus. Sometimes we're going to have a trade surplus. If it's proportional and fair, that's absolutely fine with me. But what I do want to do is make sure that we hurt China. I don't, not the Chinese people, but the CCP. And I believe that is working. So this is what we thought was devastating news or not so great news, and now really good news, because I think Mike Waltz will be a great UN ambassador, assuming he's confirmed, and I believe he will be. All right, guys, stay tuned to the Carl Jackson Show. Back in a moment. Hey guys, appreciate you tuning in to the Carl Jackson Show. We got more to get to. Um, More to get to after the break, so we will do that momentarily. Let me quickly remind you that My Pillow is having their mega sale. They are excited to announce that they're extending their mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products as well. So this is your chance to grab incredible deals on some of My Pillow's most popular and newly released items. For example, you can save $40 on the new spring My Pillow bed sheets. They're available in any size and any color. I kind of have the hiccups here, excuse me. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability. They're perfect for a great night's sleep. If you're looking for a meaningful gift, Mother's Day is coming up. It's right around the corner. You can save 30% on the brand new Mike crosses that are inspired by the one that Mike has worn for over 20 years. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs, and they're proudly made in the USA. So you can get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so please don't wait. And don't forget, the best-selling standard My Pillow is only $17.98. Plus orders of $75 shipped for absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Carl, or call 800-858-0263 to order now. Please use promo code Carl or call 800-858-0263. Mypillow.com. All right, guys, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. Please subscribe to my podcast wherever you go to get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Also, all things social media: X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show. At the Carl Jackson Show is where you can find me. All right, so we heard the news today. Mike Waltz out as the national security advisor. I'm like, this is Trump's first scalp. This first scalp until it wasn't. All right. So apparently they just thought that Mike Waltz, according to VP Vance, that they both like Mike, President Trump, and JD Vance, VP Vance, but they simply believed that he would make a better UN ambassador. And I can see why. Again, a lot of back and forth in the White House. Another big foreign, and this is domestic, obviously. This is White House, this is administration, but it impacts foreign policy. But we got some more great news today, actually yesterday, and I was able to announce it when I was sitting in for Larry Elder last night. I appreciate him allowing me to sit in on his program, and I hope you guys will get to catch me later on this week on the Mike Gallagher Show. But here's the deal. All right, so also we have the minerals deal with Ukraine. Gabe, I want to go to cut number 50. This is a big deal. The one of the What is this organization? Excuse me. It is the defense of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Peter Doran. He's adjunct senior fellow, and he appeared on a local news station to talk about how meaningful and powerful this deal was. This is very beneficial, this minerals deal, to both the United States and Ukraine. But this is a major blow to Vladimir Putin of Russia. Let's go ahead and play cut number 50, please, Gabe.
Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, your first impressions on this deal that was just signed, and how significant is the timing of this, especially when we look at the U.S.-Ukrainian war that's going on?
Thanks, Fanchin. It is a big, beautiful deal, as President Trump would say. And I think we can all agree it's a major win for his presidency. Look, it shows that he is committed to a long-term U.S.-Ukrainian team-up on both economic and the economic and the security front. It throws a lot of cold water on Vladimir Putin's suspicions. Perhaps the Americans would pull up stakes and leave. And more importantly, it slams the door on future Chinese investment in Ukraine once the shooting stops. This is a big win for President Trump, and I think he's right to be proud of it.
You know, Peter, this deal comes just days after, and Joe mentioned it, that impromptu sit-down meeting. We're looking at video of it right now between President Trump and President Zelensky at the Vatican while the two were attending the funeral for Pope Francis. Now, this deal has wide-ranging economic implications for all of us, Democrats and Republicans combined. We're hearing so much political rhetoric around this, but for the people at home this morning, they just want to know, what does this mean for my money? What does it mean for our economy collectively and all the industries that will be strategically affected by this? Why is this deal a big deal for the average American person?
Well, if you've got a cell phone, if you've got a computer, if you've got a screen, then you are benefiting from rare earths minerals. That's a resource that China has locked down around the world. Ukraine is one of those unexplored, underdeveloped frontiers for these resources. So it's vital to our national strategic interests. President Trump has put down a major marker on this. But longer term, it also puts the United States and Ukraine in business together. Fanchin, countries that are in business together tend to stick together when the chips are down. And that's what President Trump is signaling with this agreement.
Yeah, and it also could be a deterrent. If we have interest in a certain area, some other enemies may not want to attack those areas because they would be, in essence, attacking the United States. Dr. Phil also exposed how dependent we are on our pharmaceuticals, our medicines, and so many other raw materials that China has a lock on when it comes to our access. This could also open up more options for the United States. What message does this send, particularly to Russia, and what does it mean for the war and those talks now moving forward?
Well, here's the big twist. We are operating off of a lot of information that goes back decades as to where the most valuable resources in Ukraine are. A lot of those resources are located in the east of Ukraine. That's territory which Vladimir Putin's troops currently occupy. So when it comes to a long-term peace agreement, where the line of battle is frozen in place once the ceasefire begins and the peace occurs, that's going to determine a lot about Ukraine's economic future. It's unresolved right now. That's what most people are going to be keeping their eyes on, Fanchin.
Well, we know the White House was just moments ago talking about this. We're getting more information on the details. Peter, thank you for giving us your insight in this, because I think it helps the people at home watching understand why this was so pivotal as being the first deal that was the major one coming out of the administration. So we appreciate your insight as always.
Okay, so that was big news, and that actually occurred yesterday, the signing of that deal, and I do believe that it is a huge deal for the reasons that this man cited, and I will go through them momentarily. I want to pull up something Trump said, if I could find it. Okay. Anyway, President Trump was happy to find out. President Trump was happy to find out that, listen, a lot of these minerals, it turns out that Ukraine has some rare earth minerals, hence the term rare earth minerals, that aren't found in too many places. And as a result of that, it'll be extremely beneficial for Russia and Ukraine. We're talking about a 50-50 split when it comes to the monetary policy that's going to impact both the United States of America and Ukraine. So again, this is a huge deal for it. And I am trying to find the story because there were some really important parts that I wanted to add. But apparently, Ukraine will not have to pay back the money that we've spent on Ukraine in their defense of their country. That is part of the deal. So if you were hoping Ukraine would pay us back, well, essentially we'll get that and then some with this minerals deal. But this should be a deterrent once we are in that particular area. Trump sees this as, instead of going to war, or hopefully trying to bring this Russia-Ukraine war to an end, this should be a deterrent to Russia. Hopefully, it will be a deterrent to Russia. And just go back to some of the things that this man said. As far as the economy is concerned, it's an economic win for the U.S. Once we can get this stuff dug up and used, it's a security help, quite frankly, for Ukraine. And as a matter of fact, now I don't know that this has been solidified, but one of the things that I'm hearing is in the deal that this could potentially mean that Ukraine would become a part of the EU. Does that mean NATO? Anyway, we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out what what's happening there. But that's the deal. And then Putin eventually thought that we would leave, that America would leave, and obviously, there's many people, Americans, that want us to leave, to leave the region. That's not going to happen now. We won't be there in the same facet, obviously. But if you, don't, if you start something, I would feel sorry for Vladimir Putin. Hopefully it won't come to that. But bottom line is, we're not going to leave. And so now Putin's bluff has been called. This could get dangerous. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think that Putin wants to mess with America. And again, Trump wants peace, but we want a mineral deal. This cuts China out. Now, China has rare earth minerals. They wanted these rare earth minerals. They were hoping to come in after the war was, said and done. Apparently, by the looks of it, that's not going to happen now. So that is another huge story. That is another big deal. I think this is a huge victory for America, a huge victory for the Trump administration, assuming this deal is going to come to complete fruition and get ironed out. And by all signs, the paperwork has been signed by both countries. So it looks like this is a go. This is going to happen. All right, guys, I got so much more that I want to talk about. You got Kamala's comeback. Is it a comeback? We'll talk about that. Also, Walz'S confession, and I'm not talking about Mike Waltz, former national security advisor, hopefully future UN ambassador, but Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. He confessed something other night that I want to talk about. I spoke about it earlier in the week on the Larry Elder Show. I want to bring that story to your attention as well as others, because the identity politics game is not going to work for Democrats in elections anymore, at least when it comes, obviously not for those that are ardent Trump supporters, that are Trump's base. That's a 45%. That's a solid 45%. You may have some independents that may sway here or there, but you guys may have heard the news that even though Kamala Harris is out there, because she's made an appearance, still more voters would choose Trump today. And why would there be any doubt? We went through 4 years of a complete nightmare with the Biden-Harris administration, and Harris has not honed her skills at all. She was a horrible candidate then. She's out there. I don't know what she's doing. She's making appearances finally, and honestly, she's still tossing up word salads. It is the weirdest thing ever. So we'll get into that. We'll get into Walz's confession. Still plenty of news. This is the Carl Jackson Show. We'll be back momentarily. All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. I appreciate you tuning in. Again, just a quick reminder, and thank you guys for being so patient. When the AC is back on in the studio, it was a sauna. So praise God for great AC tech. So I want to thank my boy Victor that hooked up the AC. He did a good job, and uh, it feels absolutely amazing in here. but also, I just want to encourage you, please subscribe to the podcast again wherever you go to get your podcast. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. The Carl Jackson Show. All things social media, X, Instagram, and Facebook. X, Instagram, and Facebook is where you can go. To find me. All right. All right. Let's do this. We'll talk about. All right. All right. So, welcome back to the program. This is the Carl Jackson Show. I want to go right to a video. Kamala Harris made an appearance the other night, and it was not good. It didn't go well. As a matter of fact, I think it was a stark reminder of all the reasons that people are happy that they passed up Kamala Harris. Listen, guys, I'm here to tell you, and I've said it all along, and I've said it plenty of times, and I'm on air saying it, I'm recorded saying it. There is no way that Kamala Harris will be the nominee in 2028. I simply do not believe that. She does not have the political. She's not politically savvy. She's not. It's obvious. It's obvious that she's a DEI hire and has been all along the way, with the exception of becoming senator, because by that time she had developed some name recognition. But she's just not a good candidate. She doesn't know policy. She's not quick on her feet when it comes to just answering questions or basic government knowledge. She's simply not good. She's not inspiring. I mean, she's not a nice person by all accounts. I mean, remember, she lost a vast majority of her staff within the first year when she was the vice president. People just couldn't stand her. They couldn't get along with her. She was a little meanie. And that carried out throughout her entire tenure as vice president. And she did not study up much, well when it came to things that she should be studied up on. So every time she would travel somewhere or talk to the media, which was rare. I mean, once the media found out that she was totally just vapid, I mean, she hid out for quite some time. But whenever she would show her face and speak, she was weak. Now, I want to play you this clip. This is clip number 42. She made an appearance the other night, but before we get to that, and I hope we have that clip, I think we have that clip. But before we get to that, I want to get to clip number 42. This is Harry Enton at CNN delivering some not so great news when it comes to Kamala Harris fans. Cut number 42, please, Gabe.
So Kamala Harris obviously doesn't hold elected office right now, but Democrats in Congress sure do. So who do you trust more on the U.S. main problems, the main problems in the United States? Well, what do we have here? It's the same exact picture, folks. It's the same exact picture. When you match Donald Trump against his actual competition, Donald Trump comes out ahead. Look at this, 40% to congressional Democrats, 32%. Going to make a big circle here. But the bottom line is, when you look at Donald Trump in a vacuum, it's one thing. But when you actually match him up against folks in the real world, all of a sudden his numbers look considerably better. And when you match him up against his main competition at this point, Democrats in Congress, he is more trusted on the main problems facing the United States right now. In fact, it's not even close. It's an 8-point advantage, which in this politics, well, that's a wide ocean.
It's huge, and maybe tells the Democrats that their messaging is not working at this point in time. All right, speaking of the big issues, which party is better trusted when it comes to things like the economy and immigration still?
Right. Okay. So we kind of talk about it a little bit up here when we match up Donald Trump against the Democrats in Congress. But what about the parties up against each other, right? Donald Trump has not seen those favorable polls when it comes to the economy, when it comes to immigration. But look here, which party has a better plan? And this is the margin among registered voters. Look at this on immigration. The GOP crushes the Democrats. Look at that. That's a 19-point edge. My goodness gracious. You rarely ever see leads like that in politics these days. How about on the economy, where Donald Trump's numbers have been struggling a little bit? But even there, Republicans hold a 9-point lead. If Democrats think that at this particular point, just because Donald Trump is unpopular, that they're going to run away with it like a Heisman Trophy winner, that is not necessarily the case. These numbers should be a major wake-up call for Democrats. Despite Donald Trump's unpopularity in the polls, when you actually go up against him and you put Democrats' names against him, when you put Republicans as a whole up against him, Republicans and Donald Trump do considerably better. And that is why Democrats, in fact, cannot count their chickens just yet, because those eggs have not cracked at this particular moment.
I think you said the pivotal thing, the important thing, which is Democrats are not going to be running away with anything. They have to start thinking about what their message is going forward.
That's exactly right, because at this point, the Democratic message ain't selling a thing.
Now, messaging is important and narrative is important, and Democrats have been good with narrative, but Trump has been busting that up. They have not been able to handle the guy because he takes their issues head on, and he's taking their issues away from them. And one of the things that he's done, he's taken their voters away from them. But I do want to, and notice this, they just talk about messaging. What about policy? See, Democrats, they don't have, or we witnessed their policies for 4 years. And this is why, despite the fact that Trump has got 92% negative press, I think that's even worse than he got the first go round. In his first 100 days back in 2016, I believe he was at about 89% negative press. He's at 92% negative press, telling you the left hasn't changed their modus operandi at all. The goal is to try to bring his poll numbers down. That's why they get so excited about this stuff. And Harry Enton seems to devastate them every single time. But it's not just the messaging, it's the policy. We've lived the Democrats' policies, and we didn't like it. People didn't like it. We saw how mean they could be, how callous, how careless they could be with the COVID lockdowns and businesses destroyed, jobs lost, people that literally had to die alone. We saw that. We saw Biden inflation. We lived through Bidenomics for 4 years where the economy was horrible. We saw the supply chain shortage in the first year of the presidency. We saw the Afghanistan debacle. We witnessed the Chinese spy balloons flying over our country. We witnessed that. We saw that. We saw that there was never any accountability, despite this happened in Trump's the last summer of Trump's administration. We saw the BLM riots. We saw the Antifa riots. We saw that there was no accountability for those people that did far more damage and actually killed people. And then you get the J6ers, and they went all out on J6ers, even people that never entered the building. We lived it. We saw it. It isn't just messaging. Democrats have bad policies. Now, I want to play a couple videos for you. This is video clip number 44, I believe. This is former VP Kamala Harris. Let's see if she inspires you to vote for her in the future. Cut number 44, please, Gabe.
In fact, please allow me, friends, to digress for a moment. Okay. It's kind of dark in here, but I'm asking for a show of hands. Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake? Google it if you've not seen it. So that scene has been on my mind. Everybody's asking me what you've been thinking about these days. Well,
I mean, it only gets worse. That's only a small snippet. I was hoping we had the longer cut. That's only a small snippet of it, but it doesn't get any better. I mean, she throws up this word salad about these elephants that were trying to protect their young, circling around their young during an earthquake in California. And then she tries to make a point to tie into it, a political point, and it fell flat. I mean, you could barely hear any claps, any applause from the audience. This lady is a disaster. Now, the only place where she could possibly win is California. And frankly, I believe if she runs for governor of California, this is the Republicans' best shot to take back the state. And God knows how long, because she's that bad. But obviously, it would take a serious ground game and eventually some voter ID out there. But she's horrible. She's horrible. Here's what Caroline Leavitt had to say. I believe this is cut number 31. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Here's what she had to say regarding Kamala's comeback, if you will, at least come back into the public spotlight. Let's go with cut number 31, please, Gabe.
Thank you, everyone. And just to add on the Kamala Harris point, I think I speak for everyone at the White House. We encourage Kamala Harris to continue going out and do speaking engagements. You'll hear from the president at 11 o'clock.
All right. We encourage Kamala Harris to continue to speak. Tim Walz, the same thing. They're not a threat. They're a liability. The only reason why she's able to come out at all and speak is simply because the Democrat Party is in such disarray. And she's hoping to establish or reestablish her name recognition. Frankly, I got to say this, and I believe that AOC is clueless. I don't believe she has any policies. You know, it's always the rich, the billionaires. It's she's the female version of Bernie Sanders. But she's more exciting to listen to than Kamala Harris. She makes more sense than Kamala Harris, which frankly is saying a lot. The Democrats are in trouble. They're trying to find a leader. And right now they don't have one. I mean, they've got Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, and frankly, I'm not sure they'll go with him simply because he's Jewish. And frankly, there's times where he's been too timid to stand up against the radical left in his party. They've got Wes Moore, but I tell you who won't be the nominee in 2028. I'll reiterate it again. It will not be Kamala Harris, and it won't be Tim Walz as well. I'm telling you what, identity politics, as long as these people continue to talk, I think identity politics is going to continue to take it on the chin. I'll talk about that when I get back. Tim Walz, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, had anyway, he had a major faux pas. We'll talk about it next. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Carl Jackson Show. X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show. At the Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. So much more that I want to get to momentarily here. I can believe this, actually. I'm looking through my stack of brilliance here for those of you that may be watching. Anyway, fascinating. All right, so, oh, this is a great story. All righty. Excuse me, my throat is really dry for some reason. All right, hello and welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Man, guys, there's so many stories that I'd like to get to. Obviously, we've talked about National Security Advisor, or now former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, no longer National Security Advisor, but Trump has nominated him to be his next UN ambassador. So this definitely is a step up. The minerals deal with Ukraine, big deal. This is a really big deal. That's going to provide economic security. I mean, assuming that it's all going to come to fruition, the deal has already been signed. Don't know all of the details as of yet. I have read some of the details, but don't know all of the details. So we will look forward to more of that. But I think that's a win-win for both Ukraine and for the United States of America. Trump said that he felt like Volodymyr Zelensky was much calmer this go round. You guys remember that iconic meeting and that picture, that photo that was taken of him and Zelensky at the Vatican at Pope Francis's funeral, and just a very iconic photo. And apparently they had a great conversation there. And Trump said afterwards, after this deal was signed, that he seemed calmer. He seemed after that talk that he was, or during that talk, and that he was ready to make a deal. He was upset with Putin, obviously. And it seems to me that Putin has been trying to play Trump, and I don't think that's going to bode well for Putin. But anyway, this is a win-win for Ukraine, for Ukraine and the United States. But economically, 50-50 split. Obviously, security benefits for Ukraine because if Americans are there drilling, Russia better not touch them. All right, it's as simple as that. So I think this is really good news. Also, it cuts China out, and remember, China is hurting right now because they thrive on exporting cheap goods around the world. All right, and right now, when those tariffs hit China, they just sent their last ships that were not hit by tariffs, but everything coming out of China now will be hit by huge tariffs. You still have Mr. Wonderful out there writing columns. They need to be hit at 400%. That's going to devastate China. In the long run, that is going to devastate China because that's how they've been able to thrive. And Trump says no more. Okay, so Kamala Harris is not going to be the nominee. I think we can all agree on that. It is just not going to happen. She just does not have the political skill. It's obvious that she was a DE hire. Joe Biden said as much when he had a modicum of mind left before it all turned to mush. But that he wanted to hire a black woman, find a vice president that was a black woman, and that's why Kamala Harris was picked. It's as simple as that. We all know it, and we can all see it. I mean, when she was senator, when she was sitting there grilling Republicans, I didn't like her. I didn't like her policies, but it seemed like she did an effective job grilling others. The problem is once she got grilled and once she has to explain policy, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So her only shot might be California now for governor. And I hope to God she loses there. Hopefully more Californians will wake up. I know a lot of Californians have left the state, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully they'll wake up. Now, let me move to this momentarily because I do think this is a very important point. And I want to get onto this identity politics issue. So one of the things that Trump is busting up, and you guys got to remember, listen, within the first 100 days, just consider what President Trump has done. And he did it so quickly. We it doesn't even, I don't think he gets enough credit for it. The border problem, like when is this gonna stop? It's stopped. It's like a slow trickle, if anything now. Like border crossings are down like 99%. It is insane. But we still have over 10 million here that came in during the Biden-Harris administration. And we need to do our darndest to make sure that they're out of that they're kicked out of the country. I'm sorry, you don't have a right to just come into the United States. This is not a nation of immigrants. This is a nation of citizens. It's as simple as that. Every nation is a nation of citizens. Now, I want to get to this identity politics, and I can tie these together. But identity politics, Tim Walz came out the other day and he said the reason why he was picked because he could talk code to white guys. He could talk code to white guys. I'm just sick and tired of this racism. I'm sick and tired of this racism in the Democrat Party that is rampant and normal. They think nothing of it. Just a quick reminder. Remember who Trump won. Many of the people that Trump won were former blue dog Democrats, former independents, union workers. Why did he win those people? A lot of those people were very favorable to the Democrat Party and had been voting Democrat for God knows how long. The gentleman that he had at his rally the other day, the Michigan guy, I forget what type of factory that he worked in, but he said he told President Trump back in his first go around, the first time he was running, if you could win Macomb County, these are the Reagan Democrats. If you win Macomb County, you win Michigan, and you probably win the presidency. And that's exactly what President Trump did. But who were those people in Macomb County? Okay, Reagan Democrats. Where did they go after Reagan? Because eventually they ended up voting for somebody else. A lot of these people voted for Democrats. Remember what happened during Barack Obama's administration, former President Barack Obama. He abandoned them. Remember that. They decided to go after Latinos. They decided to go after the minority vote. They didn't want white men. The craziest thing ever. It's almost like Barack Obama did with voters what David Hogg, as the new DNC vice chair, wants to do with Democratic incumbents. He wants to get rid of them. It was the craziest thing ever, but they assumed, and we understand why, because now they let so many illegals in, that they could abandon the white male middle-class worker, and they could count on illegal aliens coming into the country and the Spanish vote to overtake the white vote, and it didn't happen. Trump tore that up. Trump busted that up. And they never thought it could happen because here he is, close the borders, close the borders, close the borders. No DEI, no CRT, none of that stuff. We don't want any of that stuff. He has knocked a hole in that. And DEI, anti-Semitism, the border. Tim Walz says, hat tip Fox News. Former Democratic vice presidential nominee, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, continued to describe his listening tour across the country at a Harvard Kennedy School for him on Monday night, ruling out a 2028 presidential bid and revealing why former Vice President Kamala Harris chose him as her running mate. Walz said Harris chose him in part because, quote, I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, quote unquote, and, quote, put them at ease. Put them at ease. So, okay. So first off, they abandoned the white man, the Democrat, the white male voter. Democrats did put them at ease. So they assume all of them are racist when many of them probably voted for Barack Obama. All right. But this is who the Democrat Party is. They're racist. So they project that racism onto you. I could speak code to white voters too. Here's what I'm going to do if I get in office. I'm going to cut your taxes so you have more money to spend. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm not going to censor you. I'm going to allow religious freedom. You know what I mean? I'm going to close the border so you don't have to compete for housing and resources, and your children don't have to compete for classroom space with illegal aliens. I'm going to bring down energy costs by drilling, baby, drilling. So I can speak code too, and so can you. That's code. That works with every ethnicity. All these people try to do is divide us every single chance they get. This is why they have so many of these groups. I want to play a video clip for you real quick. This is one of the Tesla terrorists that has just been let go by a judge. And speaking of judges, we have those other two judges, the one Dugan and the other. I'll have to continue with this after the break. But when we get back, I want to play this video clip. This is cut number 32. If you could get it ready, we'll play it when we come back. But a judge has released a suspect, a Tesla firebomber, citing ADHD and no access to gender affirming care. This is a judge releasing a terrorist, a real terrorist, because he thinks he's a girl. People are tired of this identity politics. And as long as Democrats continue with this, and politically speaking, I want them to. Spiritually speaking, I don't want them to. I think it hurts people. And I really believe it's hurting the country. This is all they have, though. Harris picked him because she wanted him to talk code to white guys. How racist and disgusting is that? That's the Democrat Party. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. The party that created the KKK to terrorize black and white Republicans, the party of the Jim Crow South that tried to lie about it and say there was a big switch. Why should we be surprised that they would pick a guy to talk code to white guys? We'll be back. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in. You are listening to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion, and lies. I want to look up a couple videos real quick before we go back. Tony said he posted a couple videos that I do not see in this clip, and I really need a grade. Hopefully I'm missing it. Oh, wait a minute. We do have 46, 47. Okay. 46, 47. That's 48. Sorry, guys. I am working on, before we go back to programming, I'm sitting here looking at videos. Anna Navarro had a big spat with a black conservative. I want to be able to prove my point to you guys, and we'll do that momentarily. Hank Johnson, number 49. And I want to play some videos for you because this stuff is no longer going to fly. This stuff is no longer going to fly. And I'm glad they're out saying it. Oh, and then we got, believe it or not, we got the Doge boys. That's good stuff. All right, 46. 46, Doge. And by the way, please subscribe to my podcast wherever you go to get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. The Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. All things social media: X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show, at the Carl Jackson Show. Okay, so I want to go back to whatever clip we said we were going to play. Okay, here it is. All right. 32. Real quick, guys, just a reminder too, My Pillow is having their mega sale, so they're excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on their overstock clearance and brand new products. So if you want to grab incredible deals on some of My Pillow's most popular and newly released items, this is the time to do so. Right now, you can save $40 on the new spring My Pillow bed sheets. They're available in any size and any color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability. They're perfect for a great night's sleep. If you're looking for a meaningful gift, you can save 30% on the brand new Mike crosses that are inspired by the one that Mike has worn every day for over 20 years now. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs. They're proudly made in the USA. So you can get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so please do not wait. And Mother's Day is coming up pretty quickly now, so keep that in mind. Don't forget the best-selling standard My Pillow, which you will love. I guarantee you, if you get a My Pillow, you will never go back to anything else. $17.98. Orders just $17.98. Orders over $75 ship for free. Go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Carl. Code Carl, C-A-R-L. I don't spell it like the communists. Or call 800-858-0263. All right, let's go to cut number 32. Por favor, Gabe. And welcome back to the show. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show.
And John, the government wanted Owen McIntyre to spend the time before trial behind bars, but the judge in Boston sided with the defense in this case, which cited multiple medical issues facing the 19-year-old, including autism spectrum disorder, gender dysphoria, and ADHD. McIntyre's attorney argued the teen should be released, citing serious and ongoing medical needs and treatments that could not or would not be provided while in federal detention. The defense filing says McIntyre is being treated for depression and since March has been receiving gender-affirming care. That care would likely be interrupted or terminated in federal custody.
Okay, that's offensive. I frankly, I don't care what he thinks he is. He's a terrorist. He's a domestic terrorist. He's got autism. They're concerned about that. Elon Musk has autism. Can we call it neutral? See, this is the identity politics that I think people are done with. They're fed up with. Now, of course, you have the radical left. You have the people that are going to virtue signal. You have the people that don't believe in God. They don't go to church, but they do worship. They do worship government. They do worship party politics. They do worship the LGBTQ community because they see that as being kind and compassionate. This is so maddening. This is so frustrating. You're tired of it. I'm tired of it. We're done with this nonsense. And frankly, this is what's eating the Democrat Party. I reported the other day, remember the vice chair of the DNC, David Hogg, is now being accused by 3 women of color that he cheated to gain that seat. So they might be fighting that out. Kilmar Abigail Garcia, you know, the MS-13 gang member, I believe the MS-13 gang member, the wife beater, comes out that there was a second report against this guy, pulled her from her car, threatened that he could threaten her mother-in-law or someone of that, or his ex-mother-in-law, that he could kill her and get away with it. I mean, but these are the Democrats' constituents. They want to appeal to the illegals that they want to be able to vote in 2026 and 2028. That's why they brought them into this country and they dispersed them all across the country. Listen, there's a couple of clips. that I want you to pay attention to or witness. Let's go to cut number 48. This is Ana Navarro having a back and forth with a black conservative on a CNN panel. I want you to hear this. Ana Navarro that pretends like she's a Republican of sorts. It never sounds like it. She sounds like a leftist every time she speaks, at least on television. But here it is, cut number 48.
No, I know you're not. If you come into this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people other than the black people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I just said.
I said there is a lot of people.
There's a big difference.
There is a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
There's a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said, Sir Michael. Look and act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Yes,
it is.
Let me
just heard me
share,
say
Michael.
that other than the black
Anna
people
and
who
share,
came
Michael.
as slaves, there are a lot of people from
Share,
many,
Michael. I think
many
you actually misheard what she. I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely misheard it. So now you're in my
Share,
brain.
Share, Michael. Listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
Share, Michael.
I would say I will have advocated
Anna,
for black people my entire life and say something like that?
Anna,
because you've advocated for black people, great.
Stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, Share, Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
And
do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Share,
do
Michael.
you want to go there?
No, I don't.
Do you really want to go there?
Raul, we're going to go to break. Raul Reyes, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody else. We'll be right back.
When I was studying history,
Besides Scott Jennings clips, that's the best. That's the best show she's ever had. I love it. Good for Share, Michael. My people are being racially persecuted. Is that what she said? No. Illegal aliens that came into the country illegally are being sent back. Haitians are being sent back too. They happen to be black. Africans that have come. Did you know that literally every single country has come through our southern border during the Biden administration? They're not all Latin. They're not all Latino. And it has nothing to do with that. Either you're a nation with laws or you are not. But she's on the left. She says she's a Republican. If she's a Republican, I'm a white dude. I mean, that's just nonsensical. She never speaks like one. Racially profiled. You got to be kidding me. Oh, man. I wonder if she checked out the ethnicity of the vast majority of Border Patrol agents that are trying to do their job and protect the American border. The vast majority of them happen to be Americans of some type of Latin descent, if you will, or Spanish descent. This stuff is just insane. It is insane. I'm so over it. I'm just done with this crap, man. I can't stand it. Here's another cut. This is cut number 49. I don't even know what this has to deal with at this point, but I have it written down. So let's check it out. Cut number 49. It must be.
First it came for the Latinos outside of the Home Depots.
Oh, my Lord.
Trying to get work so that they could feed their families. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a Latino at the Home Depot.
Oh, man.
Then they came for the Hispanic-looking folks.
Uh-oh.
Wearing hats backward with tattoos. And they deported them to El Salvador. And I didn't say anything about that because I don't wear my hair backward, and I don't have any tattoos, and I don't look like a Latino.
Oh, wow.
Then they came for the Latinas at home taking care of the children. They scooped up the Latinas and the children, some of whom were American citizens, one of whom was receiving treatment for cancer. They swept them up, took them off, and deported them. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a Latina. I'm not a little child who's an American citizen. Then they came back for the students.
Okay, let's cut it. There's so much dumbness. I mean, there's so much stupidity I can hear. That's Representative Hank Johnson. That's the same representative that thought what was it? The island of Guam would tip over if there were too many American soldiers. If there were too many American soldiers. So the quote that what he's trying to play off of is Martin. I don't know how to pronounce the gentleman's last name, so forgive me. But we all know the famous quote. You spell his last name Niemoller. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. He's talking about Hitler's Nazis. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. He's equating death camps of Jews to illegal immigration. So you've got Wallace, you've got Anna Navarro, you've got Hank Johnson. Here's what needs to be done. This is Governor DeSantis announcing what's happening in Florida. Okay, actually I don't think it. Oh yeah, actually it is. Let's go to clip number 43. Governor Ron DeSantis had some major news. Listen, I appreciate that people want to come to the United States. It's a great country. So I'm sick of Democrats telling us how systemically racist America is, and then at the same time saying we should let everybody in. Which is it? Cut number 43, please, game. Governor Ron DeSantis.
Where are you from?
I'm WSBN Channel 7.
Okay.
My name is Vanessa Mukuda.
Great, thanks.
United States of America. So many people are being robbed. There's due process. This is wonderful, this dog and pony show, but there's American citizens who are being deported. They show their birth certificates, they show their passports, they show their IDs, and a lot of the work being done is a little sloppy.
Well, first of all, I'll let ICE handle that accusation that you're making that they're deporting American citizens who are showing birth certificates and all that. I don't believe that that's true, but I'll let them respond to that. But you seem to have no sympathy. You seem to have no sympathy for people that have been victimized by illegal aliens. What about people? You have someone driving drunk and kills American citizen. What about people that have been deported previously and let in under Biden, who then commit sexual offenses or commit homicides, and then we
don't have enough time to play it through. Great response by Governor DeSantis. They don't care about those people because they're not their constituents. And don't get it twisted. If these people are in the media, mainstream media, they're on the left. Guys, appreciate you tuning in. Don't go where you're doing good.